Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down the core ideas from James Clear's mega bestseller, Atomic Habits. We're talking about a really powerful framework for getting better every single day, and it's all built on tiny, almost invisible changes. So let's kick things off, not with a theory, but with a pretty intense story. Imagine this. You're in high school, and a baseball bat accidentally slips from a classmate's hands. In a split second, an impact, and a life is just completely turned upside down. Well, that moment became the starting point for a whole new way of thinking about change. And the damage was, wow, a broken nose, shattered eye sockets, serious brain trauma. His recovery was this long, slow process of just relearning the basics, like how to walk in a straight line. But it was this awful injury that taught him a really critical lesson about progress, recovery, and, believe it or not, the incredible power of starting small. And here's the big insight he took away from all that. It's that tiny little improvements, when you let them compound day after day, lead to some pretty staggering results. It's not about these massive overnight transformations. It's all about the subtle path your daily habits put you on. Okay, so let's really get into this. The main idea is to just get 1% better every day. I know, it sounds like nothing, right? So small, it's insignificant. But those tiny gains, they compound over time. A choice that's just 1% better today can literally determine the difference between who you are and who you could be a year from now. This is such a crucial idea to grasp. Your outcomes are simply a lagging measure of your habits. Think about it. Your success today isn't because of something you did yesterday. It's the sum of all those tiny efforts you've been making for months. Your net worth. That's just a measure of your past financial habits. Your weight? A measure of your past eating habits. The results? They always show up later. And this is something we've all felt, right? You expect your progress to be this nice, neat, straight line going up. But in reality, we almost always hit what he calls the valley of disappointment. You know that frustrating time when you're putting in the work, day in and day out, but the results just aren't showing up yet? Well, that's it. And the whole key is to just push through that phase, even when your progress feels totally invisible. So if these small habits are the secret, how in the world do we make them stick? Well, this brings us to a huge shift in focus. It's not about what you want to achieve, it's about who you want to become. And this is the core difference between outcome-based habits and identity-based habits. Just look at the difference here. Outcome-based habits are all about a temporary goal. Once you lose the 20 pounds, then what? But identity-based habits, they're about a permanent shift in who you see yourself as. The goal isn't just to run a marathon. It's to become a runner. It's not about doing something. It's about becoming someone. And this is the line that really hits home. Every little habit isn't just about the result. It's about reinforcing your desired identity, one action at a time. So when you make your bed, you're casting a vote for being an organized person. When you go to the gym, you're casting a vote for being an athletic person. Okay, so how does this whole process actually work inside our brains? If we want to change our habits, we have to understand them first. And it turns out there's a simple 4-step loop that runs pretty much everything we do on autopilot. At their core, habits are just mental shortcuts. I mean, your brain can't possibly analyze every single decision you make all day, so it offloads these recurring tasks to your non-conscious mind. It frees up your mental energy, and it all follows this predictable 4-step pattern. First, you've got the cue. That's the trigger that kicks the whole thing off. Then comes the craving. That's the motivation, the desire. After that is the response, the actual habit you perform. And finally, the reward. That's what satisfies the craving and tells your brain, hey, this loop, it's worth remembering for next time. So that simple loop, that's the backbone of every single habit you have. So if we want to change our behavior, how do we take control of it? Well, this is where the 4 laws of behavior change come in. Just think of them as the levers you can pull to finally build good habits and break the bad ones. Okay, this framework is basically the user manual for changing your life. Each law lines up perfectly with one step of that habit loop we just talked about. So to build a good habit, it's 4 steps. First, make the cue obvious so you can't miss it. Second, make the craving attractive so you actually want to do it. Third, you make the response easy. Get rid of any friction. And finally, make the reward satisfying so your brain wants to do it again. And if you want to break a bad habit, you just flip it. Make it invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. All right, that framework is awesome, but let's be real, it can still feel like a lot. So, where do you actually start? Let's zoom in on that third law, make it easy, and talk about one incredibly simple rule. Now, the goal here isn't to get some huge result on day one. Nope. The goal is just to master the art of showing up. You can't improve a habit that doesn't even exist yet. And this rule makes it so incredibly easy to start that you really can't say no. When you scale your habits way down like this, you completely lower the barrier to entry. See, you're not worried about running 3 miles. You're just focused on putting on your running shoes. This makes it so easy to cast that first vote for your new identity, reinforcing the person you want to become. So let's bring this all back to you right now. The real question this book leaves us with isn't about some huge, grand ambition for the future. It's about the smallest possible step you can take today. So, what is that one tiny 2-minute action you can do to cast a vote for the person you want to become?